Hello students, how are you? I am Henok. This video helps to teach online students to an introduction to climate course geography chapter 2013. Student, before starting today's lesson, it is better to remind the previous class discussion. In the previous class, we have discussed more about the basic concepts of weather and climate, their elements and factor controlling their distribution. As you have seen, weather is a short-term air condition, but climate is long-term and average weather condition. Their elements include like that of temperature, rainfall, wind, air, pressure, etc. Latitude, altitude, distance from the sea, cloud cover, etc. are considered as controlling of the distribution of elements of both weather and climate. Today's Today's class is focused on atmospheric composition, vertical structures of atmosphere and the ozone layer. Here is table displays the composition of atmosphere. Look at the table. Nitrogen, oxygen, water, argon, carbon dioxide, neon, helium, methane, hydrogen, nitrous oxide, ozone. These are the elements of the atmosphere, or that is called the gas name. And here are chemical formula and percent volume. Look at the table. Nitrogen and oxygen are the main component of the atmosphere by volume. Together, these two gases make up approximately 99% of the dry atmosphere. Nitrogen is removed from the atmosphere and deposited at the Earth's surface mainly by specialized nitrogen-fixing bacteria and by way of lighting through precipitation. Oxygen is exchanged between the atmosphere and life through the process of photosynthesis and respiration. Respiration is the opposite process of photosynthesis. In respiration, oxygen is combined with glucose to chemically release energy for metabolism. The products of this reaction are water and carbon dioxide. The next most abundant gas on the table is water vapor. Water vapor varies in concentration in the atmosphere both spatially and temporally. The highest concentration of water vapor are found near the equator, over the oceans and tropic rainforests. Cold polar areas and subtropical continental deserts are locations where the volume of water vapor can approximately 0%. Why water vapors were severally very important functional roles on our planet? Because it can redistribute heat energy on the Earth through latent heat energy exchange. It helps warm the Earth's atmosphere through the greenhouse effect, etc. The fifth most abundant gas in the atmosphere is carbon dioxide. The volume of this gas has increased by over 35% in the last 300 years. Stratosphere ozone provides service to life on Earth as it absorbs harmful ultraviolet radiation. In recent years, levels of stratosphere ozone have been decreased due to the buildup of human-created chlorofluorocarbons in the atmosphere. Since the late 1970s, scientists have noticed the development of several holes in the ozone layers. Now let's dive in the composition and vertical structures of the atmosphere. The Earth's atmosphere contains several different layers that can be defined according to air temperature. Look at the figure. Display these layers in an average atmosphere. This is a figure which is very important to understand the layers of the atmosphere. Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. Okay, look at the figure. Now let's go the ozone layer. The ozone layer is a region of concentration of the ozone molecules, O3, in the Earth's atmosphere. The layer sits at an altitude of about 10 up to 15 kilometers with a maximum concentration. Ozone is destroyed naturally by the absorption of ultraviolet radiation. When ozone plus to ultraviolet, it leads to at O2 plus O. This means ozone destruction. And then ozone hole gradually develop. When ozone hole is increased, it's difficult to survive the sun, okay? Because ozone forces to degradation. Student, now I have a question for you and answer the question accordingly. List the layer of the atmosphere. Identify the primary source of methane to the atmosphere. Student, this is all about today's lesson. But before finishing the lesson, let's revise today's lesson. Today, you learn about atmosphere composition, vertical structure of atmosphere, and ozone layers. Nitrogen and oxygen are the main components of the atmosphere by volume. Together, these two gases make up approximately 99% of the dry atmosphere. Both of these gases have very important association with life. Variation in the way temperature change with higher indicates the atmosphere is composed of a number of different layers. These variations are due to change in the chemical and physical characteristics of the atmosphere with altitude. Based on temperature, the atmosphere contains four different layers. The first layer is called the troposphere. The depth of this layer varies from about 8 up to 16 kilometers. A severe decrease in the concentration of ozone in the ozone layer could lead to the following harmful effects, which means the consequence of ozone depletion. An increase in the incidence of skin cancer, adverse impact on crop and animal. These are due to ozone depletion. Student, this is more than enough for today's lesson. Until the next class, goodbye.